Morning. Try and get my mat a bit straighter. I'm failing miserably by the looks of it. Did you all remember to do your clocks? Most clocks are automatic nowadays, aren't they? But it's really weird though, the one that's by the side of my bed only clicked over at 8 o'clock. Morning, Lynn. Hi, Josephine. What are we all doing today for Mother's Day then? Hi, Janice. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Teresa. No, yes, I've not seen you for ages. That magnolia near you was absolutely glorious. Absolutely beautiful. I do like magnolias. I haven't got one where I live now, but hopefully when I move I'll have one. Hi, Trudy. Hi, Helen. No pressure then, Josephine. I know, it's quite often that the frost gets them and ruins the display, but we've been lucky this year so far. Hi, Chrissy, Judy. Egg and bacon toasty. Yummy, yummy, yummy. So, I thought I was going to do a YouTube video, but then I thought, well, it'd be nice to do a Facebook Live, because I always put them onto YouTube anyway. And I have got some more YouTube videos planned. So, thank you, Sue, and to you. But yeah, I thought we'd do a Facebook Live this morning, just with a few techniques. Some of you will have seen already, but we're going to focus on the Sentimentally Yours Radiant Lustre Pigment Powders, which are quite a mouthful, really, as a name. So just lustre powders is where we're going. And as you know, there's 20 so far in the range. I do have them all in stock. I've just had a delivery, so I do have them all in stock. And if you're wondering what these numbers are, these are the numbers of the bundles that were on Crate and Craft when they were launched at the end of February. So not that relevant really, but helped me on the day. Hi Maureen, hi Caroline, hi everybody that I've not said hello to. So what I thought we'd do is look at the value of having in your stash the Lunar Pearl and the Obsidian. So we're talking about black and white basically. And many of you will already know about how black and white changes colours. So obviously the black darkens it and the white lightens it. So basically if you've got white and black in your stash, any colours that you've got are going to add to it and give you more shades. Obviously the benefit of having a shade mixed already, so for instance, you know that if you take a red and you add white to it, that's going to make you a pink. But the benefit of having a pink already means that if you run out during your project, you know that you're always going to get that same pink. So when you mix colours yourself, think about the size of the project that you're doing and make sure you mix enough. Or if you're not bothered, obviously it doesn't really matter, so you just get shades of. So that's just something to bear in mind. So let's start. So I'm going to use a blue and we're going to look at shades of blue. I'm just using one of these palettes because it's less cumbersome than my big palette. So obviously you could, if you know you're going to do this quite often, you can actually use one of the, you know, the Tim Holtz palettes. So I'm just going to put some water in some of the wells just to start off because it makes it a little bit quicker for me. Makes everything wet too. So we're taking the Cerulean Sky. Remember, I have mine all upside down, so give them a bit of a tap on the top so that the powder... Jane Davenport. Magnetic brushes. So we're going to take some of this Cerulean Sky and we're going to just add some to well there and mix ourselves paint. And we've got this lovely blue going on. Obviously the more water there is, the runnier the paint. That's fine. Remember, if you want to, you can leave this palette as it is and it will set down and become a solid watercolour cake, if you like. And then all you need to do is mist it with water to get it going again. This is a lovely, lovely rich blue. I want it a bit thicker than that. Make sure you give it a really good mix so that the granules do dissolve in the water. I know some people like to use warm water when they do this. I never bother. Obviously the warm water is going to make the granules mix easier. When I mean warm, I do mean like tepid really, so not kind of just straight out of the kettle. So we'll just have these few going on as is. So 3 to begin with. Might not be thick enough. I know when Kay does hers, she says like single cream. So we keep that brush to one side because I'm going to use it again in a minute. Right, so if we take, I've got a stamped image here. This is your Sentimentally Yours Big Background, the vintage timepieces, because I thought this has got lots of different spaces for us to deal with. Hi Jennifer. So it's just really something to work on. It could be flowers, it could be whatever you want it to be. So we just take a brush and I'm going on to white, well, this watercolour card, the Super Smooth, just because I think you'll see the difference in the colours easier on this. So let's just, and it is stamped and embossed, so when you stamp and emboss, the it's a mica based product, so if you don't stamp and emboss, when you do this you actually lose the detail of the images. But if you stamp and emboss, then what happens is that the emboss actually resists the paint because it's water based, and you've still got your definition of your lines going on. So we just do another one because I like this colour. Let's do this one down here as well. Like I say, the more water you add, the lighter it's going to be, and the less shine you'll get. It does, you know, I'm going all outside the lines here. It does cover easier if you've got more water in it. If it's more solid, it takes a little bit more time to bounce off the lines. Also, it's a good idea when it's actually dry to give it a quick wipe over with something like a piece of kitchen roll, because then any residue that's actually sat on the embossed lines will come off. So it's very simple, easy peasy. No, anybody can do that. What happens if we take, I want to keep my brushes going at the moment. Let's take some of the Lunar Pearl. So what's the Lunar Pearl going to do? The Lunar Pearl is going to lighten it. Let's put it in this one. So we can lighten it a little bit. I've got quite a lot there. But it's quite a dark colour, so to see an effect, we do want it to be quite thick. Don't know if you can see that. In the palette, you can also already see that it's lighter. So now it's taken on more of a hue, like it is a different colour, but it's a bit lighter, like the cornflower petal. You see? But of course we can only use this while we've got this mixed. We never get exactly the same mix ever again. You'll get it slightly lighter or slightly darker. So if we went in next to this, in fact, let's do the middle so we can really see the difference. I hope this isn't going to be too boring for you. It's kind of basics really, but it's quite interesting what you can achieve by just adding a little bit of the cornflower to it. Not cornflower, Lunar Pearl. Let's do this whole of this one. You can see it's still, but it's thicker because I've added no more water, but I've added more of the powder, but it's still bouncing off that embossed line. So can you see the difference between those blues there? And I've obviously lightened that. Okay, so that's that. We can go even lighter. So obviously the more you go in with water, the more it's going to lighten it. Oh, let me get some more, a little bit more water in there, because we are talking about adding more powder. So you can go right the way back. Don't be frightened to use it. It's not going to be very much value for money if it's all in the pot. That's just pointless. I've always said that. Don't leave it in the pot. You get loads, and it's such good value. At $4.99 a pot, it's such good value. So you can see I have put quite a lot in there, but I want to see a real difference between that light blue that I've just done and this blue. So it's going even lighter, and you can go more and more and more and more until, you know, you've got it almost white. On this, don't worry about wasting it, because as I say, this is going to settle down and you're going to have something that you can reactivate with water. So here I'm going in again on this one. Excuse my rubbish colouring in today. I had to have my glasses fixed last week, and so I was wearing my other glasses, and now I'm getting used to my proper glasses again. So you can see there you've got another lighter colour, and that one is lighter than that one. So you've already got 3 shades of blue from just using the blue and the white together. Okay, so that's that one. So I'm not going to carry on adding more and more white, but obviously you could, and you'd end up getting it lighter. So then let's go into this one, and let's take the Obsidian. So whereas the white has taken it lighter, the black is going to make it darker, and you don't need very much at all. I made the mistake of putting too much in yesterday. So let's just have a little bit there. This is really useful. This is one of the woodware shaping tools, and I use this for this end for glitter and powders all the time. Let's just clean that up a little bit. And we're mixing the Obsidian, which is the black. So can you see already you don't need very much, and now this has gone into like a midnight blue. More along the lines of your chip sapphire distress, that sort of blue. But I didn't use very much of it at all. So now if we take our brush, and let's go in here. It's not so sunny here today, so it's quite dark in my craft room, because we get the sun in the afternoon, which is why I like doing Facebook Lives in the morning. Can you see how dark that is? It is like a midnight blue now, but you wouldn't have expected that to get that from this. It's the same colour, just with a bit of black added to it. So it's really interesting, isn't it? I did years and years ago, there was a heart image that Francoise did for woodware, and it was, I think it was made up of lots of different flowers, and I used a red mica powder then, and got so many different shades of red within that heart. It was just incredible. You can see that you can really kind of go to town colouring the clocks in and having a bit of fun just with the different shades. So you could do this, and you could have like a swatch going on, which could be like a colour story of all the different shades that you could get just by adding black and white, or the Obsidian and the Lunar Pearl, to your base colour. So that's kind of the basics. Obviously you could go even darker, so if you went in more black, then it would be almost black. You could do less and you'd have a lighter shade. So I'm just actually learning how pigmented this black is, so I could have actually shown you more shades if I'd have done even less to begin with. So that's the black. We can also, because I've got a little bit of water in here, we can also, which did I mix that with that? That's black or black on it, isn't it? Yes. Oops, I fell off my chair. Something we can also do, I haven't tried this yet, but let's go for it. We'll add a little bit of the blue to there, and a little bit of the blue to this bit of water in there. And let's play with another two of the colours, because obviously I'm lucky I've got all of them. And let's get ourselves just some more ideas with blue going. Obviously this could be any colour. I am going to show you some different techniques with some of the other kind of colours as a base, because if you don't like blue, this is probably turning you off completely. But obviously you can do it with all of them. So let's try, instead of going for the Lunar Pearl, let's go for New Silver. It's the powder, yes, Jean. I'm only using the powders today. I'm not doing the paint techniques today. Although you could do this with the paints as well. You can either add powders to the paints, or you could mix oh, what's the name of them? You can mix either the Lunar for your white, or you can mix the gunmetal, that's the black. Yeah, so you can use those two to do a similar sort of thing with the paints if you wanted to, or you could add the powders to the paints as well. So there's a lot of versatility to mix and match with them. So let's add a little bit of the New Silver. So we should see something different going on than when we do the Lunar Pearl. Sorry, I'm pausing because I have to kind of remember what's called Lunar and what's called Lunar Pearl. Because obviously the paints and the powders are called slightly different. So this is more of a grey blue now, with the silver in. I find it fascinating to see how many different colours you can create just with one base. I don't know if you guys do, but I really do. So we can just do the inside of this clock here. And there isn't, I mean, it's obviously lightened it. And remember, when they dry, that's when you get all the lustre coming through. And it is, I can see the difference. I don't know if we'll see it on the screen in a moment. I can see the difference between this and the one that I've added the Lunar Pearl to. So I'm trying to not go out to the lines too much, because I might be able to use this as a background, which would be fabulous. So I think it's hard to see, but there is a difference between that one and that one. So that one's the Lunar Pearl and that one's got the silver in it. So if we add a little bit more silver, we should lighten it even further. Don't worry about taking your wet paintbrush in, that's absolutely fine. Let's go even more. There's a big wodge of silver in there now. I'm going to add some more water to it because it's a little bit thick for me. Sometimes it's a personal taste as to how thick or thin you mix it. Now it's a really lovely luscious colour now. Yum. I will go in the centre of this so we can see the difference. It's very subtle, the difference actually. But it's more, you can see, I can see the difference. Can you see the difference there? Yeah, you can see the difference in the palette, can't you? This keeps me, this makes me very happy, and can keep you going all day, this sort of thing. And it's that kind of going back to that mindful thing, isn't it? So let's add now to get something totally different. And you could, I could go one step further, but I'm not going to. You could add copper to it as well, but we're going to add the new gold. So that was new silver that we've just done. Let's add some of the new gold. So this is going to take us goodness knows where. So let's just add a little bit to begin with. This is my version of a little bit. I'm not very good at doing little bits. I like big bits. What's that got in it? I think that's got silver in it. Has it? No, it hasn't. Oh, I can't remember. Let's just mix it. So this has got a bit of a green hue going on now. Bit patinery. If that's a, it's not a word, but you know what I mean. Let's find a brush. Let's clean a brush. It's quite runny as well, so this will probably pop off quite a bit from the. So it's more of a sage green, isn't it? This one. But the base is the Cerulean Sky. It's interesting, isn't it? I think it's absolutely fascinating. Well, I'm happy. I don't know if you guys are, but I'm happy. And look how it, because it's quite runny, it's completely popping off. I like this sort of colouring in where I don't have to bother too much. It's completely popping off the embossed pieces. So now what happens if we add a little bit more of the gold and mix that in? Ooh, that's a lovely green, that is now. So it's more of an olive green now, I think, and it's not a million miles away from the olive powder. But like I say, when you're doing it yourself, you have to mix enough for your project, because you'll never get it exactly the same again. So let's go here, so it's right next to it. This is why the chemists are so good at doing their mixes, because obviously they have a recipe, and it'll be so much of this type of powder mixed with so much of this type, and then it will always be the same. And that's all from this blue here. Aren't they fabulous? Don't you like my cards then, Teresa? It's a lot quicker for me to prep this sort of thing, because there is no prep really. So I prefer this sort of technique as well. So you could go on and on and on and on. I mean, we could now bring in, if we wanted to, if we wanted a darker colour, this is where it gets really off the wall. We could take a little bit of obsidian, and this time let's only go for a little bit. And we could bring a little bit of obsidian in. And now we've made a darker olive green. Can you see? So let's put this right next to this one so you can see the difference. And this is actually, I've been quite good, because I'm normally very heavy-handed with the obsidian. There is actually only a slight difference, but can you see the difference between those two? Let's just go a little bit more so you can see it even more. I'm on a roll here. A little bit more. That's my little bit. I need a little bit more water as well, because I've obviously got quite a lot of powder in here. And yeah, I mean, I mean, look, that's how for my my pot is still, so please don't think, oh, I can't do that, look how much powder she's using, I don't want to waste my powder. Please don't think that, just use it. Let's see if we can get this one's darker. It's not much darker than the other one, but again it is another shade, and the coverage is just absolutely tremendous. You need these powders in your life. They're my favourite. I prefer powders to paints myself. Probably because I was introduced to powders first. So there we go. I mean, I haven't tried them on black actually, because I ought to have done really. But you can see that you've still got, you can still see them on black. Let's get, which one was that? I think that's some of that one. I'm not going to do all of them because I'll have to clean all my brushes in between. But you can see that you're still going to get a colour coming through on black. And that's the Cerulean Sky with new silver, and that's the Cerulean Sky with new gold and the Obsidian as well. So, you know, you're going to get just as much of a variance by mixing them and putting them on black as you are on white. So that was the first thing I wanted to show you. No, we're not having 50 Shades of Grey. We're having 50 Shades of Cerulean Sky. Can you mix the colours of the paints like you can with the powders, Julie? Yes, you can. Absolutely. So, as I was saying earlier, for your black, you want your gunmetal paint. You've got your Lunar for your white. This one isn't Tim Holtz. This one I got from Creative Expressions years ago. I don't think they do them anymore, but you can get them online. They're only about £1, £1.50, something like that. So there you've got your white and your black that you can add to your base colours of your paint. Yeah. The only thing is that you need to remember with the paints is because they're acrylics, once they're dry, they're dry. You can't actually set them off again. Okay. And then of course you can use your gold and silver in the same way that I've done with the paints as well. The beauty of the powders is that I can put this tray aside and it will dry, and then I can just mist it with water and I can use up all of my waste. That's one of the big things about the powders that I really like. So that's that. So that's using them wet and doing a mix. Let's put this somewhere where I don't knock it over or anything. The cat won't come in because the door's shut. What I also wanted to show you was a little bit of stamping, but let's do a bigger background again, because then I've got more space to show you. Let's take the numbers one. So that's using them wet. But we can also use them dry and do a mix while they're dry as well, which is quite interesting. So this is your numbers and letters big background journal page from Mr. M. Oh, where's the block? I need a block. And I am going on to the watercolour card. You don't have to have a watercolour card for this, but it's my go-to. Using it on the block. Now, because we're using the powders and because we're going to stamp with Versamark, I am going to dust with my antistatic bag, just so that if I've got any fingerprints on there, that the powders don't cling to my fingerprints. Well, you can go in half an hour already. Well done, is a bit of painting. Right, so now we're going for Versamark. I'm always a little bit hit and miss with Versamark, so hopefully we'll hit rather than miss. Would be nice, wouldn't it? Be methodical, because obviously you can't see the ink going on. I think it's falling down on my desk. You can't see the ink going on, so be methodical, and then hopefully you'll be okay. And sometimes it's when, if you haven't used a stamp for a while, which I haven't used this one for a while, I'm getting my excuses already, then sometimes they need a bit of lubrication before they actually stamp really well. You could have used, of course, used a stamp platform, but I actually prefer doing the big backgrounds with my A5 acrylic block. Whatever rocks your boat, whatever you feel happiest with. I found that I was getting more ghosting with my stamping platform, because I'd go again and again and again, because I think, oh, I want that darker and I want that darker, and then I'd end up with a bit of a shadow. I didn't like that. Right, I think that's inked within an inch of its life. It better be. This is where you don't see anything at all. And let's pop that down there. You do want to have a clean stamp if you're going to do anything like this, really. If you want to do anything where you want sort of a proper clean image to begin with. Actually, to be honest, I'm talking rubbish really, because it doesn't really matter. If you want the true colour of the powder, you need a clean stamp. If you're not bothered whether what hue it takes on, whether it takes on the colour it is on black or whether its colour it is on white, then it doesn't matter whether your stamp's clean or not. So I'm giving it a good old press all over, and I'm going to just lift it up and give it a press on the other side as well. Now there's two ways that you could do this. I think we're going to work it on the image rather than on the stamp, but that might be wrong, but we'll see. As in not on the stamp, but on the mat. So let's do a different colour. Let's do oh, make your mind up, Julia, already. Let's go for a purple. So let's go for Enchanted Wisteria. So if we take, oh, that's wet. We take one of the little dusting brushes. That's the trouble with the A5 blocks, you can't see them. They do a paint palette, Jean, but they do a bigger one. They do the Tim Holtz one. And I didn't want the Tim Holtz one. So if we just take the what's it called, Enchanted Wisteria, onto our stamp, we can see that it comes out like that. So what we can do, because you have to remember that whenever a powder hits the VersaFine, the first colour that goes down is the colour it's going to be. So if you put a little bit on your mat, give it a flick to clean it, then pick up, say, a little bit of the Obsidian. You can then mix that with that and then pick that up. And so we've now got a dark purple going on, you see? And by the same thing, you can take, again, a little bit of the Enchanted Wisteria, put it on your mat, give that a flick. So you want it clean when it goes into the powder. Let's have quite a bit of that, because I like that. And then we mix this in, and we've made ourselves a nice light purple. When that goes on there, we've still got a bit of black in there, but we've got a light purple going on. Can you see the three different colours? So now we can take a little bit here, we can take a little bit up there with the lighter colour, so don't want to waste it. Darker colour. Let's go with the proper pure colour. That's plenty. Put that back in there. And now we give this a brush all over. We should have different shades going on across here, but all we've used is a bit of the Obsidian, a little bit of the Lunar Pearl, and we've used the Enchanted Wisteria. So anybody would think that you've used multiple powders on here, Well, you have, but you've only, your base is only your purple. I think we're good. I think we're covered on that bit darker. Faff, 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 faff. Try not to knock your powders over, because you will use them quite quickly if you knock them over. Now all you've got here on your mat, let's just move that a second. What you can do is just, oh, I've got a little bit here. This is a manky piece of rice paper. I've got some rice paper on my website now, Creative Expressions do it. So you can either pick it up onto a piece of card, or you can pick it up onto your rice paper. My rice paper's quite mucky. And when it dries, you can stamp onto your rice paper or die cut your rice paper if you pop it onto a piece of card, and you've got something really cool going on there, rather than waste it. Oh, sorry, door. Let's leave you looking at that. Right, sorry about that. My lawnmower broke yesterday. First cut of the lawn, and it broke. The motor went. Good old Amazon delivered one immediately. Didn't pay for the extra though. So now I'm using a dry wet wipe, just to get rid of the excess. I'll give it a wiggle so you can see it. So can you see we've got the different shades going on of the purple? And I would actually just mist it with a bit of water, and that helps to set it, and also makes it pop a little bit, because water is a binder, because there is a binder in it, but water actually binds it to the card. It won't stand you doing that a lot, you know, so don't put it somewhere where people are going to do that a lot, but just as a background in a frame, absolutely fab. So that's the second one I was going to show you. I'm out of breath now. That's how unfit I am running up and downstairs. Can you make a spray with the powders? Right. Yes, you can. But it really depends on your mister bottle. Some mister bottles will bung up because you have got they're not ultra fine powders, so I would, if I were you, I would just actually mix a little bit. So you want to put a little bit into your mister bottle, mix it with some water and use it, but don't leave it. I think over time it's going to bung up. I haven't made any into misters for ages because I did have some bung ups. Same with paints as well. You can make misters with the paints, but again, you want to use it virtually straight away. Don't leave it in there because it will bung up, and then you have to throw your misters away. So that's that. I've got one more to show you, if that's okay. I'm going to anyway. It is just a tip of the iceberg. I mean, I've got a massive list of powder techniques, and I do have some paint techniques, but fewer. But I've got a massive list of what we can do with them. So we're going to use the stencil now, and I want to use my favourite. Where is it? There it is, the Leafy Cascade. I have that one out as well. And I was going to find myself, there we go, Right, so I don't make too much of a mess. Got an extra little bit of craft sheet here. What's on there? I think the Amazon man woke Nathan up. He won't be very happy about that. Morning, Lou. So I'm actually going to secure this, and I'm going to secure it. I think I'm going to secure it on the wonk like that, because that's the way I like to spread. And like I say, we are on watercolour card. It's not absolutely essential, but because we're going to use texture paste, the watercolour card is going to be less likely to crinkle up than the pure white. But you can absolutely use the pure white. You can also do this on the black as well, which would be lovely. I do have one of these dry, but I'm going to show you in a different colour. So the one I've got dry isn't that helpful, but it does show you different colour combination. So going all different sizes. Then I want my... Do you know, this has lasted me ages. When I first got 100ml of the texture medium from Phil, I said, well, I'm going to need more than that. But I still have a tiny little bit left in the bottom. I don't know if it's enough for what we're going to do now. But, and of course, I've done loads with it. So I'm actually very impressed. Actually very surprised as well. Let's just see. So I'm just putting this on a separate piece of craft sheet, because it may... Oh, there's loads there. That should be plenty. There's still a little bit left. Amazing. Amazing. And we'll try and clean the top a bit so it doesn't weld on there and you don't lose your use of your medium. So let's go for... Let's go for a red. Let's go for Splendid Scarlet. I love this stencil. This is my favourite stencil. So we're going to put some of this. Just remember that the texture medium, it goes on white, but it dries clear and glossy. So we're going to take some of the Splendid Scarlet. Let's have a good dollop. Remember, don't bulk at how much I'm using, because you get loads in your pot and it's no good in the pot. You want to use it. You'll be sick of me saying that. Be careful when you mix it. And again, you can absolutely do this with the paints. The beauty of using your powder is that it's not a wet medium. It's a powder, and so it doesn't change the structure of the texture paste. But having said that, because the paints are so highly pigmented, you don't need to add much. With the powders, you can get away with adding as much as you like, really. You can, yeah, it's absolutely fine. So it does look quite pinky. Do make sure it's mixed well. It does look quite pinky here. Not perky, but pinky. I'm sure the oldies that are watching with me know Pinky and Perky were. Whatever happened to Pinky and Perky? They're probably not PC nowadays, are they? Right, so let's just get this into a little pile, and we'll have a third down here, approximately, and a third up there, and a third in the middle. Right, so we're going to lighten it with the what's it called, Lunar Pearl. I wish you'd called them the same. And we're going to lighten it quite a bit, so I'm going to put a big dollop of the powder in there. Do not think that because I'm using loads of the Lunar Pearl that that you have to buy 2 at a time. Please don't think that, because it is going to last you absolutely ages. So I put Lunar Pearl in and not silver. Yes, looks a bit silvery there. It's the light in here. So again, be very careful how you mix it, because it does out. That's me doing poof out. see that it is lighter than the one next to it. It will thicken it up slightly because remember I've used quite a bit of powder in here, but it's absolutely fine, don't worry about it. It's like mixing a cake. Then we're going to go to this bottom one here. I don't know how I'm doing it in this order, I just am. Wooden tops, yeah. So remember, Obsidian, you don't want to add very much. When I did it yesterday, the one that I'll show you, I did add quite a lot. So let's not add much, but I want to add enough. You can always add more. You can't take it away, Julia, but you can add more. That'd be me this afternoon, finishing off cutting the lawn. I've been going for about half an hour because the first cut takes ages, doesn't it? Oh, I hate cutting lawns, I hate it with a passion. And I thought, what's going on here? I was making a funny noise, so I hit it with loads of WD-40 as you do, and it still wouldn't turn. So, and then it was a funny smell, so I thought, that'll be the motor then. So look at this now. I mean, yeah, it's white rather than clear, but it's more of a plum colour now, isn't it? And this would happen. Remember when we did all the painting at the beginning, you get the same sort of effect if you were using it as a paint as well, and vice versa. Where we've done the paint with all the blues, the blues are going to have this effect with the texture medium as well. So let's grab some of this. This is the lighter one, and we put the lighter one in the top. You do want to make sure that it's nice and well mixed, but when it dries, it'll dry glossy and pearlescent, which would be absolutely fabulous. And I am rather than going diagonally, I am going across, because then if you wanted to do yourself a bit of a triptych, you know, trim it down and have 3 panels, then you could have 3 panels with the fading if you wanted to. So let's get rid of that and just give that a wipe. And we use this one to pick up. You can see the black does actually stain the spreader a wee bit. I don't want to go for that. Let's go in there. This will probably be the glossiest because this is the one that's just got the scarlet in it. And we want to make sure it meets the other one. Don't want any gaps. Okay, get rid of that. And then we pick up this last plummy one, which looks like it's come from a totally different colour than the one we had before. But of course it's still got that Splendid Scarlet base. Can you see the potential of these powders? They are absolutely amazing. And this is I've just shown you 3 techniques with this. I mean, the actual kind of theory is the same across them all. Don't worry about this, we're not going to waste this. I'll show you what we're going to do with that in a second. I'm not going to do a Leone though. I'm not going to do this onto the bin. I'm not going to do this onto another piece of card because quite frankly I've got so many backgrounds, I don't know what to do with them all. We definitely are going to have a giveaway because I don't know if I'm going to have time to do something with all of them. Get my pokey tool. Oh, try to have it kick back. Tidy. You see, there's not 97 million pieces of kitchen roll on here. Just saying. Oh dear. Okay, so just pick this off. And if you wanted to, you could add one of the glitters to this. So you could add one of the fine glitters would be lovely. But I mean, we can't see yet because it's not dry. So you've got the one that's got the white in it there. Then you've got the Splendid Scarlet, and that's the one that's got the black in it, the Obsidian. So what we've got left over here, let's put that to one side a second. We can then just take, because if you mix this together, it's waste not, want not and all that. Mix this together, we're going to make another colour. So we haven't made this particular colour that we've got here before. This is a new colour. So it's a lighter plum, which is just left with what we've had before. So let's just take a strip of card and the grid stencil, and we can pop this through here. This is where I do make a bit of a mess. So we've now got a border which is going to be totally different colour. Still got some left. Totally different colour to what we had before. I could even like it on the mat. Oh. Cool, isn't it? We haven't mixed that colour before. That's a new colour. I want to put that somewhere where I'm not going to, get a piece of kitchen roll, put that in there. Oh, I've got a little bit left. It'd be criminal to waste that, wouldn't it? Because we've got all that on there as well. Bear with. I'm not going to waste all that. It's very hard to guess how much you need. I still can never remember how much I need. Where's one of those little ones? That one. Got a little hexagon here. So let's take a little hexagon. We can have it in the top, couldn't we? And do it. Oh, I do want to get it all on though. This is where I faff. I need to just mask it off so I don't get, if I want to use it, I want to make sure that I don't get the paste where I don't want it. So I don't want it in the other images, and I don't want it to go off onto the card as either. So now we can just pop that in here. It's loads left. I do quite like this plummy colour. So you'd never get some of these colours if you didn't try this mix thing. There's even some more left. I'm just not doing that. I'll be here forever. Don't worry about drying on your mat, your craft sheet, because even if it dries, you can just scrape it off. Be absolutely fine. So with this one, we will add a little bit of glitter on top, I think. So if you're doing glitter, you need to do it while the paste is wet, so that the it sticks to the wet paste, basically. Cool. This is like something for nothing. So you could have a sentiment below there, a mat and layer it, and your job's a good one, isn't it? So that is my crystal sparkle. Oh, I tell you what, I have got somewhere, which should be. Is it there? Is that one's there? No, perhaps not. It is rainbow crystals. This is a super fine one. If you use a chunky one, then you lose a little bit of definition. Obviously, once that's dry, that's going to be absolutely fabulous. And it'd be interesting because it will probably take on the, because this has a bit of a greeny kind of hue on black cards, so it probably will take a little bit of that on in the background, which would be quite interesting. So that's that. I'll show you the ones I've got dry, and then we will be calling it a day because it's nearly an hour. I don't know where that hour's gone. Amazing. Right, so the ones I've got dry to show you is this one. So this one is with the no, not firecracker. This one, the African sunset. So you can see you've got the African sunset in the middle there, and then this is with the Lunar Pearl. And to be honest, I can see I should have mixed it a little bit better because it's a little bit lumpy, but it's still got, I can see the granules a little bit, but it's still got that lovely pearlescence to it. So it's more peachy. And then this is the really dark brown that I got by adding the obsidian to it. And then I got, from all the leftover bits, I got kind of a minky colour when I mixed it all together. So obviously once you've done that, you can pop yourself a frame around it, trim it down a bit. But I mean, obviously this is a white frame, so I would use the watercolour card, and you've got a rather beautiful card. Or if you wanted to, you could just cut it into strips and have yourself a triptych going on. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed that and found it interesting. It'd be wonderful if you're not a member of the Crafting with Phil Martin and Sentimentally Yours group, do go and join that. I know many of you are members, and it'd be wonderful to see some of your colour combos in the group. So you know, have a play. Don't worry about, you know, doing a completed project. Just show us some of your colour combos and what you've discovered, because don't forget, I mean, I've used the silver and the gold and the Lunar Pearl and the Obsidian, but if you start mixing your different colours together, so you know, if you thought, oh, I'm going to take those and I'm going to mix those two together, what am I going to get? And then if I bring in the black, what am I going to get? If I bring in that, what am I going to get with all those? So start mixing your colours together, and you will get loads of different colour combos. Just remember that if you're colouring in or if you're doing this, that you mix enough for your project. That's very important. And if you are doing your texture paste kind of techniques, do have some extra stencils and some extra card with you, so that you can use up all of your waste bits, so nothing is wasted. Don't forget that Phil and I are trying to build our YouTube channel. It's not just subscribers. We do need 1,000 subscribers, but we need 4,000 watch hours, which is quite a target for us to try and get to. So if you're not a subscriber, if you head over to the YouTube channel, this will be on there later. If you could subscribe, that'd be fantastic. But if you put a video on in the background, that would be absolutely wonderful too. And enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I will do another Facebook Live probably, I think, on Wednesday morning at 11, because I have a brand new release of Tutti Designs, which is on TV this week, which is actually half of the dies are already available on my website if you'd like to have a look at the Tutti Designs section. As I said, thank you for joining me, and I will catch up with you later in the week. Bye for now.